We're back here at the railway, and yeah, so we have tidied up a fair bit. Um, that stuff in the middle's gone. Obviously, I put the little station bit I got there, although that needs some work doing on it to transform it from being a plastic, plastic looking thing to something a little bit more realistic looking. But we have had. Oh yeah, the other thing is I need to take that hinge away from there because at the moment it's kind of impinging on the track. Although trains do run up and down this track, no problem. I would prefer for that hinge not to be there. So yeah. Anyway, so Posty has been today. Well, he came today and he came yesterday and he came Monday and bought me some bits. I've been quite lucky because I've been able to get a lot of the bits that I want for quite cheap. But what we have here on the line is my Deltic, the very first loose train I bought second hand and then had to spend a bit of time fixing it. First time I've run this on this track, when last time I ran it was when the track and that was all still on the floor and it wasn't as extensive and intricate as what it is now. However, when I tried running it, it was grinding and stopping and I think I've given it a grease because I hadn't greased it after I'd done all the work I'd done on it. But I do think it still needs a proper deep clean on the wheels and everything. But never mind, it still works. But what we have attached to it is we have a series of carriages that I bought, which are sort of era appropriate. These are Mark II carriages, and they can be distinguished by the fact that on the windows, this is one of those geeky like trains moments. The windows have these four little windows above them. As you can see on here, yeah, you can see they've got little windows above the main windows, unlike the Mark III carriage, which just has open, you can see solid one-piece windows. So what we got then? Well, other than the Class 55 Deltic, we have the following. We have a Mark II, and as you can see from there, buffet restaurant car. We have a Mark II, what's known as a second open carriage, which is just basically all seats. Should say the buffet restaurant car. Obviously, if you were on a long journey, well, to start with, this train in this configuration, although it's not complete, but we're making a start, is what the Class 55 would have been like when it was running on the East Coast mainline, which is the East Coast mainline, for those who don't know or aren't interested, but I'm going to tell you anyway, is the eastern main rail traffic line that runs from London to Edinburgh up the East Coast. And it's where Doncaster is one of the stations, one of the main sort of hubs on that route, because from Doncaster the East Coast Main Line can split off and take you to Leeds or can continue north to Edinburgh Waverley. So yeah, these were long distance trains. You were getting on one of these in London, it would take you about I don't know, 6 to 8 hours, maybe 12. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, but I do know it was a long run back in those days. This particular, way I've put it out is how the East Coast Main Line would have appeared in the sort of late 1960s to early 1970s. From the mid 1970s onwards, the Mark II coach would have started to be replaced by the Mark III coach. Which wasn't really completed until the mid late 80s. So you would have probably still seen quite a few of these knocking around. But yeah, the restaurant buffet car is obviously something that's important when you're going on a long journey because while you're on a train you'll want something to eat. So as we can see in there, the little details, the tables. They're just molded plastic. They're not painted or anything. That's something that I may do in the future. But yeah, I picked this one up actually at the train show that I went to, fairly cheap, very nice. But there you can see the blacked out windows. That's where the actual kitchen would be. If I was doing this train properly, in between the train and the carriages, the beginning of the carriages, the first class coach would go here. Basically, first class buffet restaurant, and then the rest of the things. But yeah, so This is the buffet restaurant, and like I say, in here we have bit of a dodgy, bit of paint rubbed off there, but then again that just makes it look used. So yeah, we have just a coach here, second open, which is the where people sit. As you can see there are small tables in between. There would have probably been about 2 or 3 of these types of coaches attached to it. And then the final coach, because I've only got 3 attached to 3 on this train, is what's known as the guards van. This is the coach with, it has basically halfway down it has seating, and then the bit at the back is brake assembly, so there's brakes at the back of the train, and this is where the train guard would sit. You know, there'd be a little, what they call it, in there for him to sit and have a cup of tea and whatnot. You know, and make sure that his paperwork was up to date and stuff like that. The American equivalent to this would be a caboose, but unlike the Americans, the guards on the train, or the conductor, or whatever you want to call them, would not have much to do. The American ones would have to keep extensive paperwork about cargo and passengers and stuff like that. I would have to keep a logbook. British Rail guards and conductors didn't really have to do that. You know, obviously there would be money in there as well, because people getting on the train that were buying tickets on the train would have to, you know, be charged, and he'd have to have change and things like that. So, you know, there'd be a safe in there and places for him to keep paperwork and stuff like that. But yeah, that's where that'll be. So yeah, we have this little train set up here for this one. So like I say, it represents a kind of East Coast mainline type service. Something with only 3 carriages on wouldn't be going from London to Edinburgh. You know, it would probably, because they on the mainline, the Deltics did pull both short and long, you know, long journeys. There would also be sleeper cars on some of these, especially the kind of overnight ones as well, where you could fold out seats into, you know, beds so that you could get some kip. You know, if you were getting on the train at 10 o'clock at night and it wasn't due to get to Edinburgh till 6 in the morning, you know, you might want to grab a few hours kip. So yeah, there were sometimes sleeper cars on here. I don't have a sleeper car. I'm not sure if they actually have made one, or if anybody's made one. I presume they would have, you know, because obviously there's been plenty of years where, you know, they've been making model trains that, you know, whatever. So yeah, let's send it off on a journey, and oh, yeah, like I said there, it still needs a bit of a clean. The little bit of a clean I've already done on it, found that it had some. Oh, why is it not wanting to go? Go on, you were running perfectly fine 2 minutes ago. Off you trot. Well, let me give you a bit more juice. There we go. As you can hear, a little bit noisy. So it probably needs a bit more greasing, and the wheels and everything on the Deltic need a good clean. But yeah, it's the Deltic is still pretty fast when it gets its momentum up. But yeah, they very good. Say off it goes to Edinburgh, and also the Deltics were quite noisy anyway, so you know, it being a bit noisy isn't out of character for it. But yeah, it is slowing down a bit in the corners, probably due to dirty. Yeah, like I say, it's stuff like that. But yeah, I quite pleased with that. The other thing that I've had come today is this here, which is a HDA bulk coal hopper. Because well, it's in EWS colours. I have an EWS Class 60, which is one of the coal trains, basically to represent the transportation of coal in the... Oh, we're slowing right down now. Yeah, definitely needs a clean. We'll stop you there before you end up hurting yourself too much. But yeah, trains like this used to come through the place where I used to live, in EWS livery, pulling several of these. The old standard on the coal trains was it would be 36, what were known as HAA wagons, which were small coal hopper wagons. That was replaced basically by the HTA bulk wagon, which can carry a hell of a lot more, and we're a little bit more modern. Yeah, I do have a Class 16 EWS livery, so I bought this to go with that. Obviously, I only have one, so it's not going to be a very big coal train, but yeah, anyways. So yeah, that was the Class 55 Deltic in a East Coast mainline configuration there. Not bad, but unfortunately, like I say, the Deltic does need a another deep clean. I've already pulled hair and fluff and bits like that out of its wheels, so yeah, we needs a bit more TLC. It's already had TLC once since I got it, but I've managed to dirty it up since then by running it on the carpet, which is a bit daft, but you know, never mind. I didn't have a table at the time, so yeah, there we go.